Guys, it's Alex. A chilly 55 degrees in Florida today, so I actually had to break out the hoodie. UPR's got some pretty baller hoodies, so finally I had to break it out. So the video I'm bringing you today is like a buyer's guide to Mustangs. Coyote Mustangs. I'm going to urge a lot of the younger buyers that are looking for Mustangs, first-time buyer cars, to stay away from the 3-valve altogether. Not because it's a bad car, it's because it's not a car you can mod well. For the price, they're still asking, you know, close to $10,000 for some 3-valves, and for that price you can mod a 2-valve and be better off, and they actually look better in my opinion, a 2-valve 99 to 04. But let's stick to Coyotes, 11 to 14 Coyotes, because 15s are still kind of pricey. So if you're gonna consider a 2011 Mustang, 2011 through 2012 Mustang, because of the price, I'm going to show you the kind of differences between that generation and the later generation. So this is the dusty interior of my 2011 Mustang. Currently warming it up now because it's on the 85 and it's cold, so I want to run it and let it get warmed up. So obviously, as you can tell, the gauges are in the center, mile per hour on the left, tach on the right. I have aftermarket seats and no TPMS sensors, so that's why those two lights are on. Obviously the controls on the steering wheel are as such. They're a little worn out because, again, this car does have a decent amount of mileage on it. 108 at the moment, 108,000 of 700 plus wheel horsepower. So this is what you're going to see. Your cruise, all your cruise stuff going on here, your radio, your Bluetooth, your sync system, phone, everything is going to be configured as such. This car did come with a Shaker 1000. So it does have the shaker system in it, which includes the slightly bigger subwoofers in the car. Now for these cars right now, 2011 and 2012 Mustangs, you can find if you can find a stock one, they're probably going for about low teens right now, which is pretty damn good. You could still make good power with these cars. The 13 and 14s have a slightly different engine configuration, but these cars are no slouches at all. This is a 13 to 14 Mustang we got here. I'll show you the difference in the configuration of the cluster. Again, this car has aftermarket wheels, no TPMS sensors. But the key difference with these cars, 13 and 14 Mustangs, that have the option is the, I guess I call it the track application display. It's really nice looking. For the time, it was kind of like the most baller thing around. So 13, 14s have a bunch of things you can kind of go through. You can go through the fuel history. You can see what your average is. This car is on pump gas right now, so it's getting pretty decent gas mileage, but gas is creeping up to $3 or so. So that's not my fave. Let me zoom in a little more. So I'm gonna play around with these and see what, again, these are the neat little things you can kind of do. You can have that as your static display. You can have that as your static display. This is the troublemaker. This is the troublemaker screen is what I call it. It gives out too much information, but it's nice. Inlet air, so that's the temperature coming in at the cold air. Air fuel ratio measured via the wide bands. These cars, 11 and up Mustangs, all have wide bands. Thank goodness. Cylinder head temp. A lot of people get a 170 thermostat to keep these under 200 in the summer. Oil temp low because I just started it. Okay, so that's that. Let's go into more detail as to what's going on. Trip info. So this is your a bunch of info here that I didn't really play with because, again, I really don't care. The track apps are the coolest thing. The accelerometer is there, and you want to go and be a fucking asshole and whip this thing in turns. This thing will tell you where you're at, your min max. For G's, basically has a little accelerometer built in. Works really well. Acceleration, so quarter mile time, 0 to 60. What you do is if you want to go quarter mile, you can do an automatic start or a countdown start. Press OK to begin, and press OK to start. Boop. Boom, and then it's going to start recording at that point. Okay, backed out of there. There's also brake performance. It tells you I believe in feet. No, we're not going to begin. No, thank you. So basically I had to back out of there, and basically it saves a history of your best data. Let me see if it actually all-time best. I don't think I ever did anything. Yeah, I never, again, this is not my car. I never beat on this car. This car is is a daily driver and does not get tracked at all. Even though it is tuned and it has some mods to it, which we will talk about next, it's one of those cars one of those Mustangs that you might end up wanting to pick up eventually because it was never ever beat. Now, a lot of people are, you know, hit or miss on this interior combo. I call this the peanut butter seats. I think they were only optioned in 13, 14 cars. 11 and up, 11 and 12 cars I think had red seat options, which no one on earth should have. No red seat options. So basically, this is what you're going to see in the 13 to 14 Mustang. Obviously, it's highly upgraded as opposed to what I just showed you on the 11 to 12. The button configuration is slightly different. Let me zoom in. There we go. So this actually controls all your track apps. Your cruise control is still here. I don't like this guy. This freaking guy right here is a pain in the ass to get to sometimes, but you can live with it. And all of your media devices. Radio's the same. This car did not come with Shaker 1000. Came with Shaker 500. Still has the bigger speakers. And again, the interior option I love. I love this interior combo. It's great. Also, the headrests on these cars actually ratchet. They don't ratchet on 11 to 12. They only go up and down at a slight angle. These guys ratchet. Okay, you want it there, you want it there. If you want to go back to the beginning, just pull it all the way forward, let it go. Goes all the way to the back. Other key differences are the front ends. As you can tell, the front ends on these cars, don't mind the chipped paint, but this is my 100,000 mile car. As you can tell, the fog lights in the center, the hood is pretty flat across, and the lights are just conventional halogen lights. The 1314s are a little different. Okay, so the 1314 is obviously high intensity. Even the fog lights are high intensity, and the hood comes up slightly and dips right back down. Those are the key differences in both front ends of the cars. Now, the first modifications you should do to this car are as follows: tune and a cold air. Which cold air? I'm going to show you right now. This car has a PMAS 120 millimeter cold air intake. I didn't even want to try messing with anything else in the market. This car had every cold air intake you can think of put in there, and none of them performed as well as the PMAS. A lot of people kind of brag on me because I get a lot of products, you know, given to me and all this stuff. I don't rep any of them that don't work. This one is 120 millimeters. Has a pretty neat shield. A lot of people complain about high IATs because of metal housings. Guys, trust me, when the air's flowing this good, temperatures simply don't matter. Neat little shield. Totally different than all the other shields out there for this year vehicle. And again, like I said, this car is pretty stock. It has a tune in it, has a PMAS intake, which I recommend highly. Those are the first two mods you should do. The third mod, if you want to delete the cats on a non-emission state, I don't recommend it because of EPA bullshit, but that will give you a huge bump in horsepower for sure. That's kind of the big kick in the butt that these cars actually can give you if you remove or modify the cats with high flowing versions. So basically, these are the differences of these two cars. Besides the blower, the nose, and everything else, these cars are pretty similar. Now, the engines are better in the 1314s. They're slightly better. So if you can swing it, these cars are still going for about high teens. These cars are going for about 13, 14, 15. These cars are going 17, 18, 19. Okay, if it was up to me, I'd buy this. More options, in my opinion, a better looking nose. The drivetrain is identical. There's a couple of differences in the bumper covers, which I'll show you next on the ground effects, that little key things to look at that stand out. Okay, so don't mind the dirt, but these cars have a plastic sort of side skirt. Okay, this is plastic, and it's not body color. The 13 or 14s have a body color. Okay, this car has bigger brakes. This car has standard brakes, but they do come with a Brembo brake option if you decide to find one. If you can find a Brembo brake car, it's a lot better car. So on the rear, the differences are obviously noticeable. The taillights on these cars are, in my opinion, the best taillights that ever came out of a Mustang. They're like an LED. They're really nice. They stand out. They do well. Again, body color on the bottom skirt here. This guy is plastic. Okay, so hopefully you guys can kind of get a general sense of the key differences of these cars. Tail lights, skirts, engine options. things of that nature. Another neat little thing about these cars that I don't know if anyone has noticed, but I saw this almost a year ago on the forum. See the hood shape on the car? See how it has that little hood outline? Well, let's go to the vanity mirror. Boop! There it is. There's the hood, basically top view. Kind of neat. They did not do that in the 13-14. Only in 11-12 did they do that. Not sure if it matters. Gosh, I've never opened this fucking thing. Does this one even have lights? Shit, who knew? Yeah. See how much I fucking pay attention to that shit. There you go, guys. Those are the major differences between this generation Mustang, the S197. It's affordable. It's becoming really affordable nowadays. The tuning, there's tons of proven good tunes out there that will work. There's a ton of parts out there, in my opinion. Air Aid, PMAS, Stita, all those cold air intakes are desirable for this one. I would prefer the PMAS over all of them because it's the bigger one, flows the best. And they're actually coming up. No, this isn't a PMAS commercial. I just like the product and it works really well. So hopefully this will help you guys when it comes time to decide on a Coyote car, which one to get. Probably leaning towards the 13-14 because of the options. But if you want to mod the car and have a little extra money, want to mod the car, consider an 11-12. They're just as good. Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you later.